Hello everyone, in this video we will look into the dark sides of a college education. Generally people avoid speaking it in the public domain, but let me make it clear that in this video we will look into 5 important points that needs to be noted by the students. Especially if you are a student, kindly watch it fully, or in case if you know any student who is planning to pursue his college education or maybe in the college, kindly forward this information. So let's dive into the concept. The first one is a professor or a teacher. A teacher means the one who is taking classes or working in a school. A professor is one, of course you know, it's college. So a teacher or a professor, for that matter, they do not possess any practical experiences. Let's look into how to become a professor. You should have an undergraduation, let's say BCom. Then you should have post-graduation, MCom. Or some people after completing BCom, they may also choose to go for MBA. So if that is the case, there is a third level called UGC NET exam, which is conducted by the central government. So you should clear that exam for what you have studied in your post-graduation. If you have done MBA, you are eligible to write for management. If you have studied MCom, you are eligible to write for commerce. If you have done MA economics, you are eligible to take for economics, English, literature, like that. So whatever that you have done in the post graduation, there is an exam for it. Once after you clear that government exam, you are eligible to become an assistant professor anywhere in India. And similar to that, there is also a local exam. For instance, in Tamil Nadu, we have Tamil Nadu SET exam, state eligibility test, where once if you clear that particular exam, you are eligible to become an assistant professor in Tamil Nadu alone. Similarly, there is Rajasthan SET exam, Pune SET exam, which covers Maharashtra, West Bengal SET exams, Andhra for that matter. So if you pay attention to this, a person completes his undergraduation, then a post-graduation, then a government exams. This government exam comes twice in a year. So immediately after your final year of post-graduation, you are eligible to take. So by the time when you are 23, you are eligible to take that exam. Then if you clear it, you can become an assistant professor. Many of the people do this case. This is what the real scenario is. So by the time when he is 23 or 24, he becomes an assistant professor. He is an academician. He does not possess any practical experiences or skill set required for an industry. And now he is going to train the students. Can you see the mismatch happening over here? A teacher is an academician and he is going to train students, and the students needs to work in an industry. So there is a huge gap between the skill set which a teacher possesses and the skill set required by the industry. And what happens is, you may not be a person employable. You may have a degree, of course, after completing your undergraduation, but it may not be converted into an employable category. So this is the first drawback or the dark side of the college education. And some of the management, if you take college as a structure, management may also play a very key role in this. Management could come up with certain idea called MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, wherein the college will collaborate itself with a company. So the company specialist people, or maybe the people who possess the skill set, they may come and take class. But one problem lies here is, the people who are working in the industry or a company, they may not have the proper way of understanding how the school system or the college system works. And similarly, the professors do not know how the industry or the companies work. So this drawback is always there. That is why there should be a blend of both in order to ensure that this works properly, which is a very drawback. Though the topic may look like something which is unknown to many of the people, but if you pay attention to it, everyone who has done his college will understand this. Okay, so this is the first point that I wanted to stress. And also, like, the second point, which is very much connected with the first one, is teachers are not a specialist but a generalist. What do we mean by that? The prescription, whatever the UGC is stating, is a professor, and there is someone called associate professor, and there is an assistant professor. I am talking about assistant professor, the entry level professors. And it is not just the entry level, because if you look into the college system as a whole, there is no such thing called promotions much. It may happen like in 10 years or 15 years. There is no prescribed norms followed by colleges. Universities follow it, but not the colleges. Universities in numbers, probably in the central university is less than 60, and if you look into the state university, it comes less than 300. It's a very small representation of the whole education system, but colleges, like, it exceeds 40,000. So you should see, I'm talking about the maximum part in this video. So the point is, a teacher, a professor is supposed to work for 18 hours in a week, which is 3 hours in a day, 18 hours including the Saturday. And he takes 3 papers, 3 academic papers, core paper or elective or allied for that matter. And what happens is he takes 3 different papers and he demonstrates those paper, explains those paper to the students. He is not becoming a specialist. One paper may be from law, another paper may be from finance, another paper may be from economics. So he takes 3 different disciplines. There is no proper structure over there. And what happens is he becomes a generalist. A specialist is someone who takes a particular discipline and he does a lot of research on it. It may happen in IIS or maybe IIT and IIMs, but that is not the case in colleges. So as a student, whenever you are listening to a professor, you are becoming a generalist. Again, you are also not becoming a specialist. So as a student, how can I become a specialist, sir? That may be a question which you need to search outside the college hours. For instance, you have to go for an institution for a particular skill set. You have to develop it outside the college hours, outside the institution. But inside it, it is very difficult. You become a generalist person. Maybe if you do a post-graduation, you will become theoretically strong. Academically, you may become a very focused person, or maybe you will be strong. But it doesn't mean that you will become a practical person, or maybe you will become a specialist for that matter. Okay, so this is the second dark side of the college education. So you neither become a person well aware of what is happening in the industry, a practical experiences will be out. And the second one is you may not become a specialist. You will also be a generalist. That is why once after you are employed also in an industry or a company, there is something called training. And it may go for 3 months to 6 months in a company. Okay, so this is the second point. And the third one, placement records of the college. See, colleges does placement, not all the colleges. If you look into the engineering and other streams, the placement records stands at around 40 to 70%. They may claim it 100%, but if you look into the practical part, since I am a professor, I have discussed with a lot of my colleagues and other engineering professors, and we have come to the data that it comes around like 70%, and that also not to all the colleges, very few. Universities also the record stands less than 80 or 70 for that matter. But the point is, it is not just about the placement record, but are you employed in a place which reflects what you have studied in the college? The question remains, because people get inside a particular company, but that doesn't require what you have studied. So they are again trained in the company and they go for it. But what I mean by the placement record is not just the numbers. Here, colleges don't take, many colleges for that matter, don't take placement as a very serious record, especially government colleges. And also as a thing from the perspective of a government professor, he gets the salary, he does the work what has been given, he don't take a special effort except very few. And what happens is there is no proper connect between a company and the college students. And the college neither takes any special effort, because everyone gets their work done and they get their salary. They don't take extra works. That's why they do their work, but they don't take an extra effort, because placement is not just about an effort taken by a professor. It should also be an additional help from the institution, which may not happen in the majority of the colleges, especially in semi-urban and rural places. There's no placement record at all. So what happens is a student, after completing his undergraduation or post-graduation, he comes to an urban places. Urbanization happens. It's a big issue which is happening over entire world, especially in country like India, where people don't get a job in the place in which they have studied. So they go for a particular city and get employed. And also if you see, the college doesn't help them. They do it on their own. So this is what the placement record. So once after you complete your college, of course it is not at all guaranteed that you will get a job. Even if there is a strong placement in a college, it doesn't mean that it will be reflecting what you have studied in your undergraduation. So this is the third dark side that has been experienced by many graduates after completing their studies. The fourth point, recently I came across a video where a specialist person from the economic advisory team of Prime Minister, he spoke about something called the allocation of funds in the budgetary part. So the host questioned about should the government spend more money on education? So because education forms the basis of all the sectors, whether if you take IT or maybe like any government aspects like telecommunication, whatever the streams you take, education forms the basis, isn't it? So should the government spend more money on education so that the economy may fasten its growth? But what the point stated by the economist was quite interesting, that I wanted to share with you, which is connected with the theme of the subject also. See, a government cannot behave or react like an individual, or economy for that matter. A government has to have a multifaceted aspect, multidisciplinary. In one side there should be a bridge, in one side there should be a dam construction, in one side there should be a metro, one side there should be an electrification of certain things. Everything has to happen simultaneously. If a government is focusing only on one or two sectors, for example like education or health alone, it may not reflect in the growth of an economy, which may have lot of unemployment issue. That is why the government should also focus on various aspects simultaneously together. So what it means is, being a student, you may not get these kind of understanding about an economy, not just about an economy, even from your own stream. For example, you are from psychological background, or you are possessing your undergraduation in psychology. Do you get information about psychology in detail? Apart from your professors, there are other alternates like for instance YouTube and other things. But are you getting practical explanation or exploration about the concept? It's a question mark, which is connected with absence of practical. But at the same time, as a student, that is why there are like certain ways. You go for an internship, you go for certain things. But as a college premise, in the college premise, you may not get the understanding of how an economy works, how your sector is performing. So what you should do is, you should take a special effort, because people may care for you for a certain point of time. It is you who should continue to care about your own self till the end. And your friends may continue to be with you after 2 or 3 years from your undergraduation. Some may continue till for a long period of time. But in general, you lose a lot of contacts. They may be there in your contact list, but you cannot have a strong networking with them. So that is why a college degree by nature doesn't teach you about what is happening outside the college. So you should be aware of this fact. Okay, so that is another aspect that needs to be focused upon. And the last point is lack of personalized attention to the students. You think about it, a professor is taking a class and there will be like 50 to 70 students in a class. So there are some people who like the subject, some people may not have the interest over that particular subject, or maybe the way in which the professor teaches. There are different categories and different traits people possess, the students especially. And you are going to teach the class with a prescribed form. And what happens is, there may be a portion of people who may not like it, or who may not get what you are trying to say. And because of this, there is a gap which emerges between the teacher or professors and the students, and the subject and the students. So in college, what happens is, you study around 30 papers, excluding all the language papers. At least 20 papers you study, focusing on your particular streamline. And this 20 papers, once after you complete your graduation, it may not be staying in your mind, because you study different aspects. There are multifaceted of subjects, and at the same time, the connection with the subject, maybe 1 or 2 subjects may connect with you, but in general the subjects may not continue to be with your mind after a point of time. That's because there is no personalized attention given by the college professors to the student. It's only a general way of teaching. So this is another dark side of a college education. So hope whatever I have mentioned here is clear. In case of any doubt, or like is there any other clarification regarding this, you can put it in the comment section, and kindly forward this video to students who are pursuing their college education, or maybe planning to get inside a college. So thank you. See you in the next video.